With the recent election of Bishop Karen Oilveto, a lot of people are now wondering, how does the United Methodist Church actually elect our bishops? This is a cool process that typically only seminary students writing final papers and, well, church nerds like me usually care about. And I'm really grateful that more people are wanting to know about this important process. Bishops are elected by our Jurisdictional Conference. This is one of the many levels of conferencing the United Methodist Church is built on. Every congregation has its own church or charge conference that meets every year. That congregational meeting elects a church member to go with the pastor or pastors to their annual conference. Now, this is a regional meeting that gathers every single year, hence the clever name of annual conference. But every 4 years, there are also some additional gatherings that representatives from each annual conference across the United States and the central conferences, which are like annual conferences outside the United States, gather together to hold. The biggest of these meetings is General Conference. It was actually held a couple months ago in Portland, Oregon. Now, on that same 4-year schedule with General Conference, there are also jurisdictional conferences. More on their history in a little bit. The representatives for these meetings are elected at each of the annual conferences the year or two before. General Conference sets the rules, identity, and beliefs of the United Methodist Church. Jurisdictional Conference, their main job is to elect bishops. Now let's get specific. The Rocky Mountain Annual Conference is made up of Utah, Colorado, and about a third of Wyoming. We gather and meet every single year. In 2015, that gathering elected 3 clergy people and 3 lay people, meaning non-clergy, to go to the General Conference. In addition, they elected 7 more clergy and 7 more lay people to go with those original 6 to the Western Jurisdictional Conference. So this way, the Rocky Mountain Conference sent 20 people to Scottsdale, Arizona to be part of the 100-person conference that elects our bishops. The Western Jurisdictional Conference is made up of the 8 conferences in the Western U.S. Alaska Missionary, California, Nevada, California Pacific, Desert Southwest, Oregon, Idaho, Pacific Northwest, Rocky Mountain, and Yellowstone. Together, we elect the bishops that serve those conferences. Now, this is actually a very interesting artifact of our history. Back in the 1800s and early 1900s, bishops were actually elected at the General Conference by the whole church. But when the Methodist Episcopal Church North and Methodist Episcopal Church South rejoined in 1939, there was anxiety in the South that if there were more northern delegates at General Conference, all the bishops who got elected would be from the North. So a provision was written into the Constitution that created these regional jurisdictions based on geography. There are 5 of them today. This way, each area could remain its unique self, holding on to its own unique identity. When a jurisdictional conference meets, they elect enough bishops to fill the vacancies for their region. The Western jurisdiction has 5 bishops who serve those 8 conferences I mentioned earlier. With one retiring in 2016, the Western Jurisdictional Conference needed to elect 1 bishop. By comparison, the Northeast jurisdiction elected 2, the South Central 3, the North Central elected 4, and the Southeast jurisdiction elected 5 bishops. Now, the actual voting process that helps us elect these individuals is very cool, and that's in the next video.